Hello and welcome to your Fantasy Premier League one-stop shop. I'm your host Stephen Gallagher, world number 3 in points totals over the past 3 seasons. Today we're looking at all the key points for Game Week 16, who to buy, who to sell, fixtures to target, captaincy and more. If you're watching on YouTube and have been enjoying the videos, or if this is your first time watching, then please consider subscribing and dropping a like on the video. And if you're listening on audio, Apple Music or Spotify, then rate the episode 5 stars if you enjoy. Let's get straight into it, starting with the key points for this game week. The first key point is that the mystery chip we've all been waiting to hear about has been revealed, and it's called the Assistant Manager chip. It'll be available from Game Week 24 onwards. Essentially, what the chip means is that you can select a manager from a Premier League club to get you points over 3 game weeks. The scoring will work like this. If the manager's team wins, you get 6 points, a draw is 3 points, every goal is 1 point, and a clean sheet is 2 points. And you also get an extra 10 points if your manager plays a team 5 places above them in the table at the start of the game week. The managers will cost between 0.5 to 1.5 mil, and you don't get any extra budget for them. So you'll have to move funds around to get someone in, which I think should be interesting. The manager will also take up one of 3 players you're allowed per team, and you can't use any other chips while the Assistant Manager chip is active for 3 game weeks. So I know a lot of FPL managers will have complaints about this chip, the fact that it was introduced mid-season, the fact that we don't get additional budget for the managers and have to use all of our team value to get them in. But overall, I am really excited about this chip. I don't think anyone could have guessed what it would be, and it opens up a very different side of football analytics to traditional FPL, as we're now looking at team winning odds rather than individual player statistics. So overall, I'm really excited about this chip, and I think a lot of managers will look to use this chip in a double game week to maximize their points, which leads into the next key point about Salah's double game week. So off the back of the Liverpool and Everton game week 15 fixture getting postponed, according to Ben Crellin on Twitter, who makes spreadsheets to navigate fixture postponements in the FPL season, this means that the Everton fixture will be moved to game week 24 against Bournemouth away, or game week 25 against Wolves at home, or game week 33 against Leicester away. So any of those, which is great news for those who held on to the triple captain chip like myself. I was feeling very jealous of everyone who used it on Haaland in game week 2 against Ipswich for a 51 pointer, but now we have the chance to redeem ourselves with using the triple captain chip on a double game week for Mo Salah. The next key point is all about Bryan Mbeumo and whether managers should keep or sell him. He returned 13 points in game week 15 after not scoring since game week 9, but he still only had 1 shot on target in 5 games. On top of that, Brentford's upcoming fixtures are very tough, with Chelsea, Forest, Arsenal, City and Liverpool in the next 7, which is really tough. And because of that, I think Mbeumo is a sell. Despite getting those 13 points last game week, I just don't see a lot of points for him in this fixture run. And to be honest, that's what FPL is all about, predicting those future points. And when I look at his recent data and these upcoming fixtures, he is a sell for me. In terms of who to replace him with, Gordon is my favourite replacement. He's got a goal and assist in his past 2 starts for Newcastle, and his upcoming fixtures are amazing. We'll get into more detail in the fixtures to target section, but just look at his next 2 games, Leicester at home, then Ipswich away. If you're going to move off from Mbeumo and get Gordon in, then now is the time to do so with these 2 fixtures coming up. On to the injury news. First things first, I should note that I'm recording this before the midweek European games for Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Spurs and Chelsea. They're all yet to play, so any injury news coming out of those games will be updated in the top comment below and on my Twitter at FPL Gallagher. With that being said, for Arsenal, Timber, Zinchenko, Partey, Gabriel and Calafiori didn't train Tuesday morning, and Arteta says they're all a doubt for the Champions League match against Monaco, so we'll keep an eye on that. For Villa, Watkins is an early doubt for game week 16 as he picked up a small injury against Leipzig in the Champions League. For Liverpool, Slot was heaping the praise on Alisson after his performance against Girona in the Champions League. Alisson is back and he played the full 90, which is bad news for Kelleher owners. And then Jota is back in full team training, but him and Chiesa weren't fit for the Champions League fixture. And then finally, Conor Bradley, Konate and Tsimikas are all out injured still. For Man City, Foden and Kovacic have travelled with the squad for the Champions League match against Juve, but Pep says that Kovacic may only get a few minutes and Foden is unlikely to get any. Ake and Akanji are injured, with Akanji expected to be out for longer than Ake. And finally for Spurs, Ange confirmed Johnson was subbed off due to illness. Romero went down injured, but they thought he would play 90 minutes comfortably, so we'll wait and see an update on that. And then Mickey Van Ven also went down injured, but his was more tightness and he wasn't expected to play more than 70 minutes anyways. Next up is defenses to target, using our fixture difficulty ratings and our defensive strength ratings, combining the two so we can rank teams on who has the best combination of defensive fixtures and strength over the next 5 game weeks. Top of the rankings is Arsenal. They did concede to Fulham last weekend, which was, in all honesty, quite unfortunate. Fulham only had 2 shots all game and accumulated 0.16 xG. So although Arsenal didn't get a clean sheet, their defence is still very solid. They rank second for lowest goals conceded this season and second lowest for expected goals conceded this season. They do have great upcoming fixtures with Everton and Ipswich at home in 2 of the next 3. In terms of who to go for, disregarding the fact that Gabriel and Timber weren't seen in training on Tuesday, I would say Gabriel is comfortably the best pick because of his goal threat, followed by Timber because of his price compared to Saliba. And if either of them don't play in the Champions League midweek fixture, we'll have to keep an eye on Arteta's press conferences to see what's their story. If you do really want an Arsenal defender and aren't sure about Gabriel or Timber's availability, then Saliba is another great pick. Super consistent minutes, and then Raya is another possible pick, although I personally don't like spending that much on a goalkeeper. Second in the rankings is Chelsea, the best upcoming fixtures according to our models, and a solid defence this season too. It's funny to say that after they just conceded 3 to Spurs, but they're tied 3rd lowest for goals conceded this season and ranked 6th lowest for expected goals conceded this season, so definitely a defence worth considering based off their data and based off the upcoming fixtures, and also based off the fact that you can get their defenders for very cheap. Sanchez and Colwill, really good value at their price. Third in the rankings is Liverpool. They're the best defence in the league this season. Most clean sheets, least goals conceded, lowest expected goals conceded. Plus their upcoming fixtures look good from a defensive point of view. Trent is the one to go for me. He got subbed on against Newcastle and got 2 assists, looking like the Trent that we all know and love. The only question was if he's been given license to attack in this new slot system, and he definitely was there towards the end of that game. Whether he'll continue to do so, we'll have to wait and see, but in my opinion, he is worth the extra 0.6 mil over Virgil for his attacking potential. Virgil is the safer pick though in terms of minutes and is obviously cheaper, so he's still a great shout. And then Gomez, for his price, he's a nice punt. He's not guaranteed his spot, and once Konate is back, Gomez will be back to the bench. But a short-term punt on a cheap Liverpool defender, what's not to like? Fourth on the rankings is Bournemouth, and Kirkez is my favourite budget option at the moment. Great upcoming fixtures, and he loves to bomb up that left flank. He should have had an assist against Ipswich. He put it on a plate for Tavernier, but with his attacking potential and these nice run of fixtures, a punt on Kirkez is a great shout. And finally, fifth in the rankings is City. Gvardiol is the one to go for there. What I will say about City is that they haven't been keeping clean sheets, only 3 all season. They've 21 goals conceded in 15 games. And the other thing is there's so much rotation in the City side. That being said, I do think a shout for a Man City defender is warranted given these fixtures. And although they are slight minutes risks, Gvardiol not so much. He's played every game bar 1 in the Premier League this season, and he's becoming more differential as people are starting to get rid of him. Now could be the time to hop back on those City assets. Next up is attacks to target, using our fixture difficulty ratings and the attack and strength ratings, combining the two so we can rank teams on who is the best combination of attacking fixtures and strength over the next 5 game weeks. Top of the rankings is Chelsea. They play Brentford next, who are shipping goals for fun, and Chelsea attack has been so good this season. Most goals scored in the league so far. From them, Cole Palmer is the obvious choice. He put away 2 penalties and got an assist against Spurs. The assist was very lucky, I must say, if you haven't seen it yet. And that's coming from someone who captained him. But he's just so good, and you can count on him to get return almost every game week. Even when he's quiet in a game, he can come up with a return out of nowhere, or he can just pick up 2 pens and a jammy assist. Either way, us owners, we're not complaining. Then Nicholas Jackson is the other Chelsea asset to consider. People have gone off him since he didn't feature against Southampton in the midweek, game week 14, and then he blanked against Spurs. But he had some good chances in that Spurs game, could have come away with a goal, and no one would be getting rid of him now. I'd still keep him on your radar with these fixtures coming up. Second in the rankings is Arsenal. Another goal from a set piece for Arsenal. The thing that makes them so dangerous is the delivery on these set pieces by Saka and Rice. They're just so accurate. Every single set piece is a threat when the delivery is that good. And although Arsenal haven't been creating a lot of chances in open play, if you're a Saka owner, you won't mind as much because he's the one taking the set pieces. He's just so consistent, and he's probably the best captaincy shout in Game Week 18 against Ipswich at home. His teammate Kai Havertz hasn't exactly lit it up playing striker since Odegaard's returned, but he has got a goal and assist in the past 3 games. Still one to consider if you want to target that Arsenal attack for that fixture run. Third in the rankings is City, and does that mean Erling Haaland is back on the menu? A lot of managers have shipped him out to be able to afford the likes of Salah, Palmer and Saka in the midfield. But with these upcoming fixtures for City, I think he could become almost a nice differential if you were to captain him. Man United and Everton at home in the next 3. The model says that those are tough fixtures based off the colour coding, but City can definitely get result in both of those games, and definitely in Game Week 19 and 20 against Leicester and West Ham. So keep an eye on Haaland in these next few games. Now, I wouldn't suggest ripping your team apart to get him back in, because I do still think that Salah, Palmer and Saka are the best assets at their price in the game at the moment. But he's obviously worth keeping an eye on for sure. Next up, 4th in the rankings is Liverpool, and of course Mo Salah. He scored a penalty against Girona in the Champions League, the only goal in the game. He's the best FPL asset in the history of the game, hands down. He's just so consistent, and he's just worth the price tag no matter what. If you can find a way of getting him into your team, if you haven't done so already, then do that. Other than Salah, it's very difficult to suggest another Liverpool attacker because we just don't know what the rotation will be. Liverpool have so many upcoming fixtures. 2 games a week for the rest of the year, which is ridiculous. So expect a lot of rotation in that forward line. Salah is the only one we can really count on for consistent minutes. 5th in the rankings is Spurs, but I don't actually fancy their fixtures too much here. Their next fixture against Southampton is the only great one in my eyes, and then also Wolves at home in Game Week 19. That's pretty good. What I will say is, if you have a Spurs attacker or a defender for that matter, hold on for this game week and then have a look at other options after that. Finally, 6th in the rankings is Newcastle. Their next 2 fixtures are absolutely amazing. Leicester at home, then Ipswich away. I think Isak should be near the top of everyone's lists for forwards to transfer in right now. He's a man in form, 2 goals and an assist in the past 2 games. If you're planning on getting him in, then now is the time to do so. And as I mentioned in the key points section, I think Gordon is the best replacement for Mbeumo and the best player to target at his price point. On to the stats review, where we analyse the best performing players in every position statistically. Players in red are the most expensive and in green are the cheapest. For goalkeepers, we're looking at expected goals conceded per 90 against bonus point system per 90. Alisson is the clear outlier here, and he's back playing in the Champions League. He's the best pick in terms of stats, but as you can see by his dark red colour, he's also very expensive compared to all the other goalies. For defenders, we're looking at expected goals conceded per 90 against non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90. Trent in the top right has separated himself from the rest of the group with his 2 assists against Newcastle in Game Week 14. By far the best defensive asset statistically, but also the most expensive. Then his teammate Robertson, not too far behind. He's also showing good attacking data. Gvardiol, Saliba and Gabriel, the other premium defenders, putting up good data here. And then Digne and Munoz showing up well. In terms of more budget options, Hall, Robinson, Kirkes also look good in this plot. Let's move on to the midfielders. We're looking at the bonus point system per 90 against non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90. Cole Palmer and Salah, the standout options here in the top right of the plot. But now Saka not too far behind, and also James Maddison, one that might surprise a few, showing up well here. Whenever he does play, he's very impactful. It's just about predicting his minutes correctly. Then Son has absolutely jumped up the rankings since Game Week 15. He accumulated 1.55 non-penalty expected goal involvement against Chelsea, which is insane. Luis Diaz also putting up good numbers, but again, predicting his minutes with Liverpool's upcoming fixture congestion will be difficult. In terms of budget options on the plot, Shade, Madueke, Savio, Semenyo, Buonanotte, Adama and Rogers all look to be the best picks in and around their price points. On to the forwards, Haaland ranking first for non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90, but not that far ahead compared to the others, certainly not enough to justify his price tag. We've already discussed Haaland in the attackers to target section. He's skewing the price colouring system here, so let's remove him from the plot to get a better look at the rest of the forwards. We can see that Wiss's per 90 data is amazing in the top right here, keeping up with the rest of the premium forward options. And also João Pedro showing great value for money with his data. Now Jackson seems to be the best semi-premium option in terms of data, and Watkins and Solanke rank well in terms of the expected data here, but not so much on the bonus point system. On to captaincy, my number 1 pick this week is Cole Palmer against Brentford at home. Brentford have been shipping goals for fun. They've the 4th most goals conceded and 3rd highest expected goals conceded in the league. And then when you look at only away games, they have the highest expected goals conceded in the league when playing away from home. The difference between Brentford's performances home and away is absolutely staggering. I expect Cole Palmer to take advantage of that. He's got 4 goals and 2 assists in the past 3 games. He's a man on form. But will he be outscored by my second pick, Mo Salah? He ranks number 2. I expect a lot of you thought he would be number 1, and I expect a majority of managers to captain him this game week. But the only thing making me put him below Palmer is how good Fulham are defensively this season. They've got the 4th lowest goals conceded and 5th lowest expected goals conceded per 90 this season. And then you may say, oh, but they're playing away from home. Away from home, they've conceded the least goals in the league and their 3rd lowest expected goals conceded per 90 in the league. But we all know what Mo Salah can do. I still think he'll score and he'll probably punish me for this decision. I just feel like Palmer will outscore him this week. In 3rd place, I have Saka against Everton at home. Saka whipping in those crosses from set pieces. He's on penalties, as is everyone on this list. He hasn't returned in the last 2 games, but I can see him coming back to form in this fixture. In 4th place, I have Isak against Leicester at home. Definitely a man in form, and he's probably got the best fixture of the bunch. I expect a big score from him this week. It was close between him and Saka for that 3rd place spot, but I just think Saka's consistency put him over the line. Finally, in 5th place, I have Haaland against Man United at home. He scored 3 goals in the 2 matches against Man United in the Premier League last season. Obviously, City are a team out of form, but a match like this, the Manchester Derby, I think they'll want to make a stamp on the game, and Haaland does like to score against Man United, so he's got my 5th spot. On to my Game Week 15 review. A decent game week overall, nothing special. We got 62 points overall, a game week rank of 2.3 million, and up to 627k overall. Still nowhere near where we want to be. I only had 3 players return this week, Aitnery with an assist, Isak with a goal, and then Cole Palmer with the captain's armband, a massive 18-pointer from him. I was happy to have the bench coverage with Gabriel, Gomez and Salah not playing, but everyone who came on for them did nothing anyways. Let's move on and look ahead at my Game Week 16 plans. Every single one of my starting 11 is playing at home this week. I'm very, very excited for this game week for that reason, and also because I'm going to be captaining Palmer ahead of Salah. It's a close one, and because of my rank, I think I need to take risks like this if I want to get ahead. I am ready for a world of pain when Salah starts to score, but we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. I do have a slight benching headache as well with Aitnery against Ipswich at home, first on the bench. It's between him and Lewis Hall against Leicester at home. I just prefer Newcastle's chances of a clean sheet compared to Wolves. And I'm happy Aitnery is there in the case that Gabriel isn't back in time for Everton at home. For that reason, I am going to hold on to Gabriel because I have that cover. The plan is to roll my transfer this week, so I'll go into Game Week 17 with 3 free transfers. But that's all subject to change based off any injury news. So follow me on Twitter at FPL Gallagher to see what I end up going for this game week. That's all for today, folks. Drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and rate 5 stars on audio. Until next time, guys, have a good one.